Hello, my name is James Lee, and I'm going to be talking to you about parental consent for minors seeking an abortion. So almost 350,000 U.S. teenagers under the age of 18 become pregnant each year. Approximately 82 of these pregnancies are unintended. 55% of the teenagers give birth, and 14 are miscarriages, and 31% have abortions. So many states have considered or adopted laws that would prevent teens under 18 from obtaining an abortion unless they have some type of parent or guardian involved, or maybe going to courts. These laws take two forms actually. Some require a clinic or physician to obtain the consent of the teen's parents before the teen's abortion. The other requirement is that the parent is notified before the procedure. Although everyone hopes that teens can turn to their parents for these extreme cases and something very impactful in their lives, some kids don't. And most kids that don't tell their parents about their pregnancies have a very good reason for not doing so. So the teens who do not voluntarily consult a parent generally have a very good reason, like some cases that when they announce this type of situation, it would only exacerbate the already volatile or dysfunctional family that they have. One study showed that 22% of teens who did not tell their parents about their abortion fear that if they told their parents, they would get kicked out of their houses. More than 8% were scared because they didn't want to get physically abused because they already had been beaten previously. And 12% didn't even live with their parents. And then 14% had parents that had problems of their own, like alcohol and drug abusement. So a lot of these instances, these children don't have parents to go to, and it's natural that they can't go to them out of fear, anxiety, or just ability to. There's actually an example of one of the very first teens who was forced to notify a parent, and this was under the Colorado's parental notice laws. Her mom actually kicked her out of her home when she told her that she had an abortion, or she was hoping to get an abortion, that she was pregnant. The mother kicked her out, threatened to disown her if she'd ever get an abortion, and even took all of the teen's savings that she planned on using on the abortion. Now she doesn't have a family that she can rely on. She's currently homeless, and government involvement in family affairs never ends well, and it actually ruins the relationships within these families. Government intrusion doesn't strain families, it tears them apart. So for teens that don't feel like they can tell their parents these type of situations, cannot do it because they don't feel safe with their parents. So government coercion doesn't change any of that. There's actually no evidence that mandating parental involvement actually increases the rate at which teens will tell their parents that they're pregnant, making this law kind of pointless. So mandating parental involvement actually jeopardizes a teen's life. There's a lot more So because these laws put teens' health and safety at risk, and do not create a better family, all the major medical organizations, including the American Medical Association, and a bunch of other places mandate parental involvement in minors' abortions. And the reason why this law is very unfair is because it singles out on these parent teens who choose abortion. So the risks of delayed or denied healthcare far outweigh the risks of permitting teens to consent on their abortions. Every state in the nation has recognized this fact when it comes to teens who choose to continue their pregnancies and have children. For example, no state requires a young woman to obtain parental consent for prenatal care and delivery services. No state requires parents to be notified of their daughter's positive pregnancy test. All but 5 states allow a minor to place her child for adoption without parental consent. And all states allow adolescents to consent to treatments for sexually transmitted diseases. Is it only if the teen chooses to have an abortion that states to seek a required parental involvement? If teenagers can consent on their own to services related to childbirth and even to delivery, there is no health-related reason to deny them of their right to consent for their own abortion. And you might be thinking, well, they can always go to court if there's a law that restricts them or makes them tell their parents. Well, it's not an ideal or actual real alternative. And that's because going to court for these things causes a lot of fear, anxiety, and shame to the teen. And so many teens are too scared to actually go to court and talk to a judge about these very real alternatives. And that's because such a private detail in your life is exposed to the public without your choice. And that is why I believe that teens should not need parental consent for seeking an abortion. Thank you.